Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. I wanted to come on for a few minutes this morning because something is just heavy on my heart, and I wanted to share before I got out of here this morning. Not in my home because some work is being done at my home, so you know, have to go into a hotel. But anyways, I wanted to come on and just share with you guys because it touched my heart on yesterday when I saw once again a young lady was unalived by an ex-boyfriend. And all I can say is we need to be careful out here. That's all of us. Man, woman, just need to be careful with the people we're connecting ourselves with. I told y'all I worked as a legal advocate for 10 years, and I worked in that era of a lot of family violence. And I'm not saying that it doesn't happen to males. It just happened more often to females. But males experience this as well, family violence. But yesterday, when I saw that this 21-year-old life was taken by her ex-boyfriend, and she continued to communicate with them after their breakup, right? Sometimes when you and a person are no longer together, you have to, kind of separate yourself because there's still emotions going on. But I'm not here to try to talk about how to live their lives. I'm talking from a legal advocate perspective. I'm coming from that angle of when you unalive somebody, how that family life will be impacted forever. And not only did he unalive her, he was going through the neighborhood knocking on doors with the family and asking had they seen her. Yet he knew he had taken her life. And he opened up about it and said that he done it. And he told them where her body was. And he had put it in the trunk of her car. Now, he was 19. She was 21. That's my understanding. If the news got it, the age difference right. But it doesn't matter. You took somebody's life. That's not our right to take somebody else's life. And I'm seeing more and more and more of this happening. See, everybody want to talk about how a man should treat a woman. But, and this is only a question, are men really talking to younger guys around them about not doing these things that they're doing to these young women? Because nobody has a right to mistreat anyone. And I'm passionate about it because I worked in it. I was on the task force. I seen so much stuff. I lost 3 of my clients to family violence. I wrote the curriculum against teen violence, teen dating violence, because many times parents don't know that their children are going through that, because the first thing we'll say is, oh, my daughter is too smart to that. She's too sharp. She wouldn't go. That's not true. That's not true. Because the heart is soft when it attracts to someone else of the opposite sex. It softens. And nobody asks for their lives to be taken. People just want to love somebody and want that person to return that same love back without any type of obsession or control or all of this other stuff that may come along with unhealthy relationships. And that's unhealthy. And this is not the first time that something like this has happened. But I'm telling you, around the holidays, because working with family violence for 10 straight years, this is something that takes place during holidays. The violence escalates. Boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, the violence escalates because for whatever the reason, I don't want to go into a lot of detail, but holidays, people are stressed and depressed and anxiety comes in and just a lot of stuff starts happening. But that's still no reason for what I see happening, or saw happening over the years and continue to see, that lives are being taken for what? Because you don't have control over that individual no more. And I can tell you, and I'm so passionate about it because I worked with parents of murdered children. And I'm talking about where their daughters, their sons' lives were taken, and you never looked in the eyes of a parent. If you never looked in the eyes of a parent where this has happened, I'm telling you, it touches you to the core for the rest of your life. And when I see that, it reminds me of the families that I worked with over 10 years. Because guess what? It's nothing you can do but allow them to talk. And you see them break down, and you see them clenching one another's hands, and you see them trying to get through the real life stories of how they found their daughter or their son, and like I said, most of the times, 95% of the times, it was the females. But it did happen to some males in families. That is devastating to watch. It's devastating to be in that circle and facilitate that group with parents of murdered children. And then for the person that's still here that done it, yeah, they're incarcerated, but they still got their life. Their families can still go see them. But you'll never see your daughter again. You'll never see your son again. And I believe that we just take it so lightly. And yesterday, I just sat there as I watched that news on yesterday, coming in from the rain. I remember when the task force that I was on during that time, and the task force is made up of crisis centers, representatives, and police officers and attorneys, and everybody's around the table. Detectives, chief of police, everybody's sitting at that table talking about cases. And here's the thing. You got to deal with people who will take up for those individuals that do that. You really do. They will find excuses and say, what did she do? I heard it so many times. And there was an attorney that I worked close with, and she was talking about cases where this R&B singer that she was involved in, and he had beaten his girlfriend very badly. And people loved this man. I used to like his music. But once I found out, I was like, no, I can't support that behavior. And the pictures and the description of what that young lady went through, and people ran to his aid because he had money. He had status. And the question was, well, what did she do? Well, why did she decide to have children by him? You know, it was that kind of a thing. But it was horrible because she was hospitalized and could have lost her life because of his anger. It was another one that this attorney sat on and she spoke about. We was in a task force meeting, and he was a well-known athlete. Same thing. They weren't unalived by these gentlemen, but they were very badly abused physically. And people ran to their aid because of their status quo. I also had a friend of mine, said to me when her son did this. And she said, but Electra, you just don't understand. She did things too to irritate him when she could have just been quiet. And I said, no, I understand. You want to believe that it's okay that your son took the life of somebody else's child and left 3 kids, which belonged to him and her. I can't agree with you on that. I can't walk with you on that. And needless to say, that friendship is no longer exist because I can't stand up for wrong. I can't do that. I'm not going to do that. Your son had no right to take that young lady's life. No right at all. And if that ends our friendship, that just ends our friendship. Because I can't go along with that. And I said to her, do you understand what that mother and that father got to live with? Do you understand how distraught they are? Do you understand that those kids never going to see their mother again? And you are their grandmother. And they'll never see you again. Because you said you don't want anything to do with them. But you're not looking at the pain that family. You didn't look in the eyes of the sisters. And their sister was strong too, they thought. But she wasn't strong enough against her abuser. I'm speaking on this morning because it touched my heart. And I know that there are a lot of people out there going through this. Holiday seasons bring out a lot. Sometimes not the best. And I'm going to say this because I just feel like it needs to be said. Women are always judged with the harshest accountability in relationships. When men can just do whatever and be excused and never held accountable. And it's sad. It's sad. I see it every day. I see young girls every day feeling like they have to prove themselves. All the time. Mm-hmm. And the thing about that is, when are we as elders going to stand up and speak out the truth and stop just attacking these young females? Because a lot of us older females made it out. Oh yeah. The emotional, the physical, the mental, the verbal. And you're blessed to have done that. But you didn't make it out of that obsession that you thought was love by yourself. With the grace of God, he sent people in your life to help you through. He sent people in your life to understand you, not to judge you. We stopped talking about this stuff. Nobody wants to talk about it. But guess who knows about it? God sees us too. And our lackness of not talking to our sons, not talking to our daughters, our grandparents, our grandchildren, and these young people in our lives and that we're around, and start holding people who act out in this bad behavior, hold them accountable. Don't be so quick to always jump on the victim, because that's what I see happening. Everybody jumps on the victim and what she's not doing, and what she ought to do, and what she should have said, and what she shouldn't have acted like that. She knows how to be quiet. She knows what I've heard it. I wrote the curriculum for the schools because teen violence was so bad. Teen dating violence. And guess what? Parents did not know. I had a 16-year-old that during that time, her boyfriend shot through the glass window of their front door. And she lost one of her legs because of it. That family has to live with that for the rest of their life. She has to live with that for the rest of her life. I'm just asking, when are we as the elders going to stand up? When are we? Because it's not going to get any better just sitting back, judging them. Nothing gets better by just judge. I put the work in. And I'm telling you, I'm here to tell you, it's more of this stuff happening than you know. Because a lot of people just living in silence because all people do is judge them. We some good judges till it's somebody that we love. Till somebody that we won't be able to see anymore because somebody else took their life. And when they took their life, they didn't just take the life of, just for example, yesterday, that young lady's mother and father, sisters and brothers. They took the life of he took the life of those people, child. And see, it's easy to sit back and be unconcerned because it's not yours. But just think about if it was. You would want people to care about what you're going through just like these families and not judge them. It's sad. I really think that a lot of people, don't get it. I really think that we overlook it too much. I think that because it's so dear to my heart, because I looked in the faces, I walked with these parents, held candlelight vigils with these parents and others who lost their children. To the nonsense. Didn't know what to do, didn't know about crime victims compensation. They didn't know about that. Didn't know who to work with. And when you looking at that, I'm telling you, you never forget it. I don't care how long you live, you never forget it. I'll never forget that. But I also know that we all, we all got to come together. And I'm sorry about the loss of your son. You said you lost him October 17th. We must continue to pray for you and others. We have to. That's hard. That's very hard. I'm just asking us to be more considerate. Stop being so judgmental. That's the easiest job in the world, is to judge when it's not you. If you don't want a person, leave them alone. Let me say that again. If you don't want a person, leave them alone. If you know that you are controlling and you cannot minimize your feelings, emotions, or whatever when you're in relationships, you need some time to yourself. Not being in a relationship with someone else, because anybody you get in a relationship with, you're bringing destruction when you have a mindset of control and obsession. And people love their loved ones. And people don't want to lose their loved ones. And it hurts when the world is always, and I'm saying it through experience of seeing it and working with it, judge the victim. It's sad. Because a lot of us see it playing out in the front of us and we won't say nothing. And I know a lot of people say this, so I want to touch on this right quick. She could have left. Well, he could have left. Don't you know that's when everything escalates? You can't just jump up and leave an abuser. You better have a plan. You better have a plan. Because most of the times, they will find you. I'm just saying. Stop being so judgmental and hold these people with these obsessive behaviors accountable. Because guess what? People that have obsessions, they know just how to make you think that it's really their victims that have the obsession. When it's not. It's them themselves. But they will trick your mind as onlookers. If you don't want a person, stay away from that person. Stay away from that person. Because nobody has a right to take another person's life. And the world might excuse you, but God won't. The world will excuse you, but God won't. And that's for all of us. That's for all of us. I just wanted to come on and share that with you this morning. Everybody want to be loved. Everybody. That's the human side of us. Everybody wants to be loved. But that love shouldn't cost you. People can get over being hurt. People can get over being betrayed. People can get over being misunderstood. But you can't get over a life being taken. For what? For what? For what? That's somebody's child. That's somebody's child. And you took them as if it wasn't nothing. And it happens on all socioeconomic levels. So just because somebody got money, it don't mean it's not happening. It can't happen. It happens with the rich as well as the poor and the in-between. As I told you, a $1 million record maker, song artist. I walked away from listening to his music and never went back. And I used to love it. I'm not into sports, but the sports individual that did that, they still beat those women of their children because they didn't want to pay child support. And they making millions. So don't think it just happened to everyday people. It happens on all levels. And again, until you've walked the streets with victims, families, held candlelight visuals with victims, families, ran up and down the hallways in courtrooms for the rights of the victims, families, don't judge. You have not a clue what those families go through. You have not one clue. And I'm just asking the elders out here, if these young men and young women are doing things that you know towards their partners, their spouses, whatever, open up your mouths. Say something and hold them accountable. Hold them accountable to their actions. Stop judging the victims so easily. All right? Y'all have a wonderful Friday. Again, I'm not in my home because some work is being done in my home. So, I'm in a hotel. But you guys enjoy the rest of your day. All right? Take care. Bye-bye.